Hello guys and welcome to Go Prep. I am Nidhi Kehel, your physics teacher, physics faculty at Go Prep. Welcome to my session guys. बेसिकली आज हम GTSC एग्जाम जो आपका हुआ है अभी उसके क्वेश्चन आंसर्स को डिस्कस करने वाले हैं. सो स्लॉट थर्ड का आज हम डिस्कशन करेंगे. आई होप कि आप सबने एग्जाम दिया होगा अच्छे से, आप लोगों ने एंजॉय किया होगा एग्जाम को. सो आज हम इस सेशन में अपना फिजिक्स की पोर्शन से स्टार्ट करते हैं. फिजिक्स का पोर्शन डिस्कस करते हैं कि आपका क्या क्या क्वेश्चंस आए थे, उनका करेक्ट एक्सप्लेनेशन क्या है. तो स्टार्ट करते हैं फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन से. आपके पास दो लैंप है ए एंड बी जो ऑपरेट करते हैं पैरेलल के अंदर. लैंप ए जो है वो ब्राइटर है देन बी. ये ऑब्जर्वेशन है कि लैंप ए जो है वो ब्राइटर है देन लैंप बी. इफ आर ए एंड आर बी देयर रेजिस्टेंस रिस्पेक्टिवली, तो कौन सा ऑप्शन इसमें से करेक्ट है. देखिए आपको पता है पावर होती है मेरे पास v स्क्वायर अपॉन आर. ये मेरे पास रिलेशन है गाइस. पैरेलल में है तो v तो क्या हो गया, कांस्टेंट हो गया दोनों के लिए. ठीक है, v तो क्या हो गया मेरे पास कांस्टेंट, दोनों को v मेरे पास सेम मिल रहा है. अब आपके पास पावर किसके इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल, रेजिस्टेंस के. यानी कि अगर ज्यादा ग्लो किया होगा तो उसका रेजिस्टेंस कम होगा, कम ग्लो किया होगा तो रेजिस्टेंस ज्यादा होगा. कौन सा ऑप्शन है इनमें से गाइस, तो आपको बिल्कुल क्लियरली विजिबल है कि बी ऑप्शन करेक्ट है. आर ए ज्यादा ग्लो कर रहा है क्योंकि उसका रेजिस्टेंस कम है एज कंपेयर टू बी. सो ये मेरे पास फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन था. आगे बढ़ते हैं. इसमें क्या बोला है, इंड्यूस ईएमएफ इज प्रोड्यूस्ड व्हेन मैग्नेट इज मूव्ड इनटू अ कॉइल. मैग्नीट्यूड ऑफ इंड्यूस ईएमएफ डज नॉट डिपेंड अपॉन. गाइस बेसिकली आपका इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक इंडक्शन का फॉर्मूला के ऊपर बेस्ड क्वेश्चन है जो हमने क्लास में पढ़ा था कि हमारे पास क्या होता है कि एक कॉइल होती है, बेसिकली सोलोनॉइड होता है, गैल्वेनोमीटर से अटैच होता है. मैग्नेट को उसके अंदर इंसर्ट करते हैं, लाइक उसको रिलेटिव मोशन कराते हैं मैग्नेट का और मेरे पास सोलोनॉइड का. अब यहाँ पे क्या होता है गाइस, देखो हमने पढ़ा था कि बेसिकली जब मैग्नेट को आप सोलोनॉइड के अंदर या कॉइल के अंदर लेके जाते हो तो मैग्नेट में जो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड होती है वो चेंज होती है. फील्ड चेंज होती है दैट मींस फ्लक्स चेंज होता है. फ्लक्स चेंज होता है तो ईएमएफ इंड्यूस होता है. ईएमएफ इंड्यूस होता है तो आपका करंट इंड्यूस होता है. ठीक है, अब देखते हैं कि इसमें से कौन सा ऑप्शन ऐसा है जिसके ऊपर मेरा ईएमएफ डिपेंड नहीं करता. स्पीड विथ विच द मैग्नेट इज मूव्ड, ऑब्वियसली जितना रिलेटिव मोशन हम तेज करा रहे थे फ्लक्स उतना ज्यादा चेंज कर रहा था, उतना ईएमएफ इंड्यूस हो रहा था. तो ए ऑप्शन तो मेरे पास करेक्ट है. नंबर ऑफ टर्न्स ऑफ द कॉइल, एग्जैक्टली गाइस ये भी तो फैक्टर था. जितने ज्यादा टर्न्स आपके पास थे, नंबर ऑफ टर्न्स ज्यादा थे, उतना आपके पास ईएमएफ इंड्यूस हो रहा था. तो उसके ऊपर भी डिपेंड करता है. स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ द मैग्नेट, गाइस जितना ज्यादा मैग्नेट स्ट्रांग होगा उसकी मैग्नेटिक फील्ड उतनी ज्यादा होंगी, उतना फ्लक्स चेंज होगा, तो आपके पास उतना ईएमएफ इंड्यूस होगा. तो सी ऑप्शन भी करेक्ट था. रेजिस्टिविटी ऑफ द वायर, ये एक अननोन फैक्टर है जो मैंने नहीं पढ़ा, तो ऑब्वियसली डी ऑप्शन इसके लिए मेरे पास करेक्ट है क्योंकि रेजिस्टिविटी के ऊपर मेरा ईएमएफ डिपेंड नहीं करता. सो सेकंड भी मेरा करेक्ट हो चुका है. आगे बढ़ते हैं गाइस. इस क्वेश्चन के अंदर ना आपके बहुत सारे कॉन्सेप्ट यूज होंगे पर सारे के सारे बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट है. देखते हैं कि क्या क्वेश्चन में बोलता है. देखो आपको ना दो प्लेन मिरर्स दिए थे जो आपको 0.2 मीटर अपार्ट थे. ठीक है, बेसिकली जो मिरर की लेंथ थी वो मेरे पास थी 2√3 मीटर मेरे पास लेंथ गिवन थी. अब ए मिरर पे बेसिकली क्या हुआ कि आपने एंगल ऑफ इंसिडेंट, मतलब एक एंगल ऑफ इंसिडेंट है जो 30 डिग्री है, इससे लाइट आपके पास फॉल करती है. और आपको बताना था कि जब दो मिरर्स इस तरह से रखे होंगे तो कितने रिफ्लेक्शन पॉसिबल है, कितने नंबर ऑफ रिफ्लेक्शन पॉसिबल है वो आपको बताना था. अब नंबर ऑफ रिफ्लेक्शंस निकालने के लिए गाइस मुझे चाहिए L अपॉन डी. अब आप बोलोगे मैम व्हाट इज L एंड व्हाट इज D. L मेरे पास लेंथ है जो इस पूरे मिरर की गिवन है. अगर मैंने ये देख लिया कि ये जब मेरे पास पहला था लॉ ऑफ रिफ्लेक्शन, एंगल ऑफ इंसिडेंस इक्वल्स टू एंगल ऑफ रिफ्लेक्शन. ठीक है, यहां से ये एंगल ऑफ इंसिडेंस है, मुझे पता है कि ये मेरे पास एंगल ऑफ रिफ्लेक्शन को भी फॉलो करेगा. अगर मुझे पता चल गया कि ये कितनी बार यहाँ पे आता है, लाइक कितनी बार ये मेरे पास ये वाले पॉइंट्स, ये वाला मुझे पता चल गया बेसिकली डी कितना है, तो मैं एन से, लाइक पूरी लेंथ मेरे पास एल है, डी मैंने निकाल लिया, इन दोनों से मैं नंबर ऑफ रिफ्लेक्शन निकाल सकती हूँ. तो बेसिकली डी मेरे पास क्या है, डी मेरे पास इस मिरर के ऊपर वो डिस्टेंस है जहां पे मुझे पता चलेगा कि रिफ्लेक्शन का कितना डी था मेरे पास. ठीक है, कितना डिस्टेंस पे इसने रिफ्लेक्शन को बनाया. आई होप कि समझ में आया होगा. तो अभी डी निकालेंगे कैसे गाइस. देखिए आपके पास tan थीटा होता है परपेंडिकुलर अपॉन बेस. परपेंडिकुलर अपॉन बेस मेरे पास है tan थीटा. परपेंडिकुलर क्या है इस ट्रायंगल के अंदर, आप देखिए परपेंडिकुलर मेरे पास डी ही है और बेस कितना है, जो इसकी ये वाला सेपरेशन है मेरे पास बेस है विच इज 0.2 मीटर. अब यहां से मैं डी निकाल लूं, डी हो जाएगा मेरे पास tan थीटा इक्वल्स टू कितना 0.2 मीटर. tan थीटा कितना दे रखा है tan 30, एंगल ऑफ इंसिडेंस एंगल ऑफ रिफ्लेक्शन के बराबर, तो ये हुआ मेरे पास tan 30 इक्वल इंटू 0.2. अब ये मेरे पास यहां से डी की वैल्यू आ गई 0.2√3. 0.2√3 मेरे पास डी की वैल्यू आ चुकी है। अब मुझे पता है कि मुझे नंबर ऑफ रिफ्लेक्शंस निकालना है विच इज इक्वल टू एल अपॉन डी। अब एल टोटल लेंथ मेरे पास कितनी है √3, ठीक है 2√3, और डी मैंने जो अभी निकाला कि लाइक रिफ्लेक्ट करने के बाद वो कितना डिस्टेंस तक गया, तो वो मेरे पास आ चुका है 0.2/√3। जब आप इसको सॉल्व करोगे तो आपको मिलेगा बी ऑप्शन 30। तो यानी कि नंबर ऑफ रिफ्लेक्शंस कितने हैं 30 टाइम्स हैं इसके ऊपर। तो मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ टाइम्स रेज अंडरगो रिफ्लेक्शंस इंक्लूडिंग द फर्स्ट वन बिफोर इट्स इमर्ज आउट, इसका करेक्ट आंसर है 30 बार ये रिफ्लेक्ट करेगा। आई थिंक सबको समझ में आया होगा, मेरे पास ये करेक्ट क्वेश्चन था। ठीक है, चलिए आगे मूव करते हैं। स्टार्स इन द नाइट स्काई ट्विंकलिंग इन द स्काई also when observed from a telescope such as the Hubble telescope from space and from earth their positions are different. This is because हमें पता है कि हमारे पास जो ट्विंकलिंग होती है स्टार्स की बिकॉज ऑफ एटमॉस्फेरिक रिफ्रैक्शन, सबको पता है ये बात किसकी वजह से होती है एटमॉस्फेरिक रिफ्रैक्शन की वजह से। एटमॉस्फेरिक रिफ्रैक्शन किसकी वजह से होता है, क्योंकि मेरे पास रिफ्रैक्शन किसकी वजह से होता है बेसिकली डिफरेंट रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स की वजह से आपके पास रिफ्रैक्शन होता है। रेयर से डेंसर में मूव करते हो तो रेयर का रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स डिफरेंट, डेंसर का डिफरेंट, तो जब लाइट उनमें से आपकी पास करती है तो उसकी वजह से वो रिफ्रैक्ट हो जाती है, क्योंकि हर मीडियम की अलग अलग ऑप्टिकल डेंसिटी है। ठीक है, अब मुझे यहाँ पे देखना है कि कौन सी स्टेटमेंट में मेरा एटमॉस्फेरिक रिफ्रैक्शन की बात यहाँ पे आती है, वही मेरे पास करेक्ट ऑप्शन होगा। एटमॉस्फेयर हैज डिफरेंट रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स, ये बात तो बिल्कुल क्लियर है यहाँ से, देन वैक्यूम एंड इट डिफ्रेक्ट इनकमिंग रेज लाइट। ओके, बी ऑप्शन पे आते हैं। एटमॉस्फेयर हैज अ डिफरेंट रिफ्रैक्टिव इंडेक्स देन वैक्यूम एंड इट रिफ्लेक्ट्स इनकमिंग लाइट। गाइस जहां पे मुझे मिल गया रिफ्रैक्ट, वही मेरे पास करेक्ट ऑप्शन है, तो बी इसका करेक्ट ऑप्शन था। ठीक है, रिफ्रैक्शन का फिनोमेना होता है, यहाँ पे रिफ्रैक्ट करता है। चलिए आगे मूव करते हैं फिफ्थ क्वेश्चन की ओर। देखिए ये तो बिल्कुल फैक्चुअल क्वेश्चन है, आपको अपने क्लास में पढ़ा होगा ये एग्जैक्टली कि विंड एनर्जी फार्म, बेसिकली हम जब इलेक्ट्रिसिटी क्रिएट करते हैं विंड एनर्जी से, तो वो तभी पॉसिबल है कब कि मेंटेन कर पाए अगर हम उतनी स्पीड। तो वो क्या स्पीड है, क्वेश्चन में पूछा गया है कि विंड एनर्जी फार्म के अंदर टू मेंटेन द रिक्वायर्ड स्पीड ऑफ द टर्बाइन द विंड स्पीड शुड बी हायर देन, कितनी होनी चाहिए। सो सबको पता है कि शुड बी ग्रेटर देन 15 किलोमीटर पर आवर, ये होनी ही चाहिए। तो बी ऑप्शन इसका करेक्ट आंसर था। चलिए अब सिक्स क्वेश्चन को डिस्कस करते हैं कि यहाँ पे बेसिकली सिक्स क्वेश्चन में क्या हुआ। मेरे पास आपको इक्विवेलेंट रेजिस्टेंस बताना था ए और बी के बीच में, ए और बी के बीच में मुझे क्या बताना है, अपना इक्विवेलेंट रेजिस्टेंस बताना है। तो देखते हैं कि इसका इक्विवेलेंट रेजिस्टेंस क्या हो जाएगा। देखिए पहले मुझे दिखता है कि ये दोनों मेरे पास क्या है, सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन है। सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन है तो मैं सिंपली इनको ऐड करूंगी तो मेरे पास ये बना ए, ये बना मेरे पास 6 ओम का रेजिस्टेंस, ये मेरे पास बना सी, ये बना मेरे पास 3 ओम, और ये मेरे पास हुआ यहाँ पे बी, और ये मेरे पास हुआ बेसिकली यहाँ पे 3। ठीक है, ये दोनों को जब मैंने सीरीज में सॉल्व किया तो मुझे इसने कितना दे दिया, ये दे दिया मेरे को 6। अब जब ये पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन में है, आप इनको सॉल्व करोगे तो आपको पास यहाँ पे कितना मिल जाएगा, दोबारा से रिप्लेस कर देते हैं ना इक्विवेलेंट से, इक्विवेलेंट से दोबारा से यहाँ पे क्या कर देते हैं, रिप्लेस कर देते हैं। ये मेरे पास कितना हो गया, ये मेरे पास हुआ 3, ये मेरे पास हुआ 3, ये मेरे पास 3, मुझे ए और बी के बीच में निकालना था, ए और बी के बीच में। गाइस ये कितना हो जाएगा अब आपके पास, ये अगेन आपके पास कितना हो गया, ये आपके पास अगेन हो गया 6, क्योंकि सीरीज कॉम्बिनेशन है। तो ये मेरे पास कुछ बना इस तरह से, यहाँ पे ड्रॉ कर लेते हैं, ये हुआ 6 और ये हुआ मेरे पास 3, ठीक है, और ये हुआ ए, ये हुआ मेरे पास बी। तो ये मेरे पास हुआ 6, ये मेरे पास हुआ 3। जब आप दोबारा से इसको सॉल्व करोगे तो आपको कितना मिलेगा, आपको मिलेगा यहाँ पे करेक्ट ऑप्शन यानी कि बी, ये आपको दे देगा इक्विवेलेंट 2 ओम रेजिस्टेंस। ठीक है, तो अब ये पैरेलल कॉम्बिनेशन है, पैरेलल में सॉल्व करोगे 1/r इक्वल्स टू 1/6 प्लस 1/3, तो बी ऑप्शन आपको करेक्ट मिलेगा। तो ये था मेरा स्लॉट थर्ड का फिजिक्स का डिस्कशन। अब टाइम है केमिस्ट्री को डिस्कस करने का। बाय बाय गाइस।
Hey guys, so I hope that you have really rocked in your GTSE examination, and now बच्चा लोग, it's time for us to discuss about the solutions of the slot 3 chemistry of your GTSE exam. तो चलिए हम अपने एनालिसिस को यहाँ पर स्टार्ट करते हैं। So the very first question says, choose the correct arrangement of hydrocarbons in increasing order of their boiling points. Increasing order of boiling points में हमें बताना है कि भाई यहाँ पर करेक्ट ऑर्डर कौन सा होगा, इंक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर ऑफ बॉइलिंग पॉइंट, मतलब बॉइलिंग पॉइंट बढ़ता जा रहा है, बढ़ता जा रहा है, बढ़ता जा रहा है, वैसा कह रहा है। ठीक है, तो भाई देखो हमारे पास सबसे पहला क्या है, ये ऑप्शन में C3H6, बहुत बढ़िया। देखो हाइड्रोजन इज ट्वाइस टू द नंबर ऑफ कार्बन एटम्स, डायरेक्टली ये किस कैटेगरी को बिलोंग करता है, एल्कीन। 3 कार्बन है तो बन जाएगा प्रोप एंड देन प्राइमरी सफिक्स लग जाएगा इन, प्रोपीन। C4H8, वाह मजा ही आ गया। ये हो गया हमारा ब्यूटीन, ये हो गया पेंटीन, अरे वाह, और ये हो गया हेक्सीन। वाह यार, ये तो सही हो गई हमारे लिए बात। देखिए कैसे, मैं बताता हूँ ऐसा क्यों बोल रहा हूँ मैं। प्रोपीन, ब्यूटीन, पेंटीन, हेक्सीन, अगर आप यहाँ देखेंगे बेटा तो ये होमोलोगस सीरीज बना रहे हैं कि नहीं बना रहे हैं? दिस इज नथिंग बट अ होमोलोगस सीरीज। होमोलोगस सीरीज में क्या होता है हमारे पास? होमोलोगस सीरीज के अंदर दे डिफर ईच अदर बाय CH2 ग्रुप। अगर आप यहाँ देखेंगे तो ये एक दूसरे से CH2 ग्रुप से डिफर कर रहे हैं या 14 मॉलिक्यूलर मास से डिफर कर रहे हैं। ऐड कर दीजिए यहाँ पर CH2 तो बन जाएगा C4H8, ये भी CH2, ये भी CH2, तो बहुत ही मजा आ गया। तो ठीक है ना। अब यहां से CH2 ग्रुप या 14 मॉलिक्यूलर मास से ये डिफर कर रहे हैं, यानी 14 मॉलिक्यूलर मास इंक्रीज 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 होता जा रहा है। 14 पर मॉलिक्यूल में इंक्रीज होता जा रहा है। तो बस यहाँ पे सरल सी इजी सी बात ये है कि अगर आपका मॉलिक्यूलर मास बढ़ेगा तो आपका बॉइलिंग पॉइंट भी बढ़ेगा। और ये भी एक प्रॉपर्टी आपकी होमोलोगस सीरीज की फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज डिफरेंट होती है, केमिकल प्रॉपर्टी सेम होती है। केमिकल प्रॉपर्टी सेम इसलिए बिकॉज सब किस सेम फैमिली को बिलोंग कर रहे हैं, तो इसीलिए सबकी केमिकल प्रॉपर्टी सेम है। लेकिन फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टी लाइक बॉइलिंग पॉइंट डिफरेंट है सभी का। तो यहाँ पर करेक्ट आंसर क्या हो जाएगा? ए हो जाएगा। ठीक है, लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। आइडेंटिफाई द वीकेस्ट एसिड अमंग द फॉलोइंग व्हेन टेक इक्विमोलर। मतलब सेम कंसंट्रेशन का अगर आप सेम मोलर कंसंट्रेशन का लेंगे तो इसमें सबसे वीकेस्ट एसिड कौन सा होगा? अब देखिए, इसको तो देख के ही आंसर मैं बता दूंगा, आप लोगों ने भी देखते ही आंसर बता दिया होगा कि भाई ऑक्सैलिक एसिड क्या है, ऑर्गेनिक एसिड है। क्या है? ऑर्गेनिक एसिड है। एंड ऑर्गेनिक एसिड्स आर वीक एसिड्स। वीक एसिड्स का मतलब दे पार्शियली आयोनाइज, भाई ये पूरी तरीके से आयोनाइज नहीं होते हैं, they partially ionize. While if I'll talk about HCl, or if I'll talk about HNO3 that is nitric acid, or if I'll talk about sulfuric acid that is H2SO4, तो बच्चा लोग ये तीनों के तीनों क्या है? मिनरल एसिड्स है। एंड मेजॉरिटी ऑफ मिनरल एसिड्स आर स्ट्रॉन्ग एसिड्स। अब आप ये नहीं बोलेंगे कि सारे मिनरल एसिड्स स्ट्रॉन्ग एसिड्स है, दैट इज नॉट ट्रू। इफ आई टॉक अबाउट कार्बोनिक, इट्स नॉट अ स्ट्रॉन्ग एसिड। तो ऑक्सैलिक क्या है? ये हो जाएगा COOH ट्वाइस, ये आपका ऑक्सैलिक एसिड है। इसका आंसर हो जाएगा ए। ऑर्गेनिक एसिड है, आपके सारे ऑर्गेनिक एसिड्स क्या होते हैं? वीक एसिड्स होते हैं बिकॉज दे पार्शियली आयोनाइज। ये कंप्लीटली आयोनाइज हो जाते हैं, इसीलिए कहलाते हैं आपके स्ट्रॉन्ग एसिड्स। तो इसका करेक्ट आंसर हो जाएगा ए। चलते हैं नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन की दौड़ पर। चलिए, तो अगला क्वेश्चन कह रहा है येलो मैलिएबल अलॉय, बहुत बढ़िया, इज मेड अप ऑफ मेटल्स X एंड Y। ठीक है, ऑन ट्रीटमेंट विद डाइल्यूट सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड X dissolves from the surface of the alloy to form a colorless solution। ठीक है, तो ये डाइल्यूट सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड से रिएक्ट कर रहा है X। तो आपको एक तो चीज समझ में आ रही होगी, यहां से इस स्टेटमेंट से आपको ये चीज समझ में आ रही होगी कि यहां पर जो भी मेटल है, यहां पर जो भी मेटल है, रिएक्टिविटी ऑफ मेटल X इज ग्रेटर देन हाइड्रोजन। भाई हाइड्रोजन से उसकी रिएक्टिविटी ज्यादा है, इसीलिए वो इसको डिस्प्लेस कर दे रहा है यहां से। इतनी चीज तो हम सभी को यहाँ पर समझ में आ रही है। ठीक है ना। अब चलिए आगे चलते हैं इस क्वेश्चन में और आगे देखते हैं क्या दे रखा है। Y remains undissolved, मतलब Y की जो रिएक्टिविटी है, Y remains undissolved का मतलब क्या हो गया? यहाँ पर हमें एक और चीज यहाँ पर पता चल रही है, Y remains undissolved। तो ये क्या है? ये बता रहा है कि जो रिएक्टिविटी ऑफ Y है दैट इज लेस देन हाइड्रोजन। भाई वो हाइड्रोजन से कम है। ठीक है ना, बिकॉज वो हाइड्रोजन को डिस्प्लेस नहीं कर पा रहा। एंड इज फाउंड रेडिश ब्राउन कलर। अरे वाह, रेडिश ब्राउन कलर से मैं आपको एक मसला बताता हूँ। कौन सा मेटल रेडिश ब्राउन कलर का होता है हमारे पास? कॉपर। मेजॉरिटी ऑफ मेटल्स आर सिल्वरी ग्रे, गोल्ड इज येलो एंड कॉपर इज रेडिश ब्राउन। तो ये मुझे कलर से पता चल रहा है कि भाई ये कॉपर तो होगा। अब ये भी सही है, ये भी ट्रू है कि जो कॉपर का रिएक्टिविटी होता है वो हाइड्रोजन से कम होता है, इसीलिए रिएक्टिविटी सीरीज में हाइड्रोजन से नीचे होता है कॉपर, उसको डिस्प्लेस नहीं कर पाता। तो सुनील सर ये तो बढ़िया है। अब येलो मेलिएबल अलॉय कौन सा बनाता है? येलो मेलिएबल अलॉय कॉपर के साथ कौन सा मेटल बनाता है? भाई येलो तो आपने देखा है। अब यहां से हम लैंड कर पा रहे हैं, हमको एक चीज मिल गई कि भाई कॉपर है। कॉपर का येलो अलॉय कौन सा? भाई ब्रास है कि नहीं है? बिल्कुल है। भाई हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं इसको? पीतल कहते हैं ना हिंदी में, पीतल। किससे बना होता है? कॉपर होता है इसके अंदर 80% और जिंक होता है इसके अंदर 20%। तो कॉपर और जिंक का अलॉय हो जाएगा ये, बिल्कुल सही। और जिंक की जो रिएक्टिविटी है, जिंक की रिएक्टिविटी फॉर श्योर क्या है? हाइड्रोजन से ज्यादा है। तो बिल्कुल अप्लाई हो रहा है, जिंक और कॉपर होना चाहिए इसका आंसर। ठीक है ना, बिल्कुल सही, बी आंसर है। नाउ लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। चलिए इस रिएक्शन को मैं आपको बैलेंस करना सिखाता हूँ। देखिए नाइट्रिक एसिड स्ट्रॉन्ग ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट है, इसीलिए हाइड्रोजन को क्या कर देगा, ऑक्सीडाइज करके पानी बना देगा एंड इटसेल्फ गेट्स रिड्यूस्ड टू NO। अब हमें क्या करना है, इसको बैलेंस करना है। तो इसको मैं अपनी ट्रिक से आपको बैलेंस करना सिखाता हूँ, दैट इज सुनील सर्स गो प्रेप वे ऑफ लर्निंग एल्जेब्रिक मेथड से, और फिर हम देखेंगे इसका करेक्ट आंसर क्या है। ठीक है ना, यहाँ पर आ रहा है डी, हम इसको पहले प्रूव कर लेते हैं कैसे। तो यहाँ पर मैं आपको अपने मेथड से बता देता हूँ, फटाफट से हम इस आंसर तक कैसे पहुंच सकते हैं। पहला स्टेप है, आप स्टोइचियोमेट्रिक कोफिशिएंट्स यहाँ पर लिख देंगे, दीज आर स्टोइचियोमेट्रिक कोफिशिएंट्स, ताकि हमारे जो नंबर ऑफ एटम्स ऑन लेफ्ट एंड राइट साइड है वो बराबर हो जाए, और लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास को फॉलो करेगी। भाई जब वो लिख रहे हैं तो वो लॉ वॉयलेट ना हो। दूसरा स्टेप क्या है, स्टेप नंबर 2 है, जितने भी एलिमेंट्स उनका नाम लिख दीजिए, कॉपर है, हाइड्रोजन है, नाइट्रोजन है और ऑक्सीजन है, इनका नामकरण कर दीजिए यहाँ पे। ठीक है, अब इनके एटम्स को आपको किस वे में एक्सप्रेस करना है, ए और बी और सी और डी और ये जो स्टोइचियोमेट्रिक कोएफिशिएंट्स है इनके फॉर्म में एक्सप्रेस करना है। देखिए कैसे, लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे कॉपर का कितना एटम है, एक एटम है, तो लिख दीजिए ए इक्वल टू, राइट साइड पे कितना एटम है, एक एटम है, लिख दीजिए सी। ये हो जाएगा हमारे पास इक्वेशन नंबर 1। हाइड्रोजन का कितना एटम है HNO3 में, यहाँ पे लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में कितना है, यहाँ पर सिर्फ एक बार एक ही हाइड्रोजन है ना, तो लिख दीजिए बी इज इक्वल टू, यहाँ पर कॉपर नाइट्रेट में हाइड्रोजन नहीं है, वाटर के अंदर है हाइड्रोजन, कितने एटम है, 2 एटम है, तो लिख दीजिए 2D। ये हो जाएगी इक्वेशन नंबर 2। नाइट्रोजन के लिए भी ऐसा करेंगे, एक ही एटम है नाइट्रोजन का, तो लिख देंगे बी इक्वल टू, 2 नाइट्रोजन के एटम तो कॉपर नाइट्रेट में है, तो सी के फॉर्म में लिखेंगे 2C प्लस, और कहीं है क्या, हाँ ठीक है, एक ये भी रहा NO के अंदर, नाइट्रिक ऑक्साइड के अंदर या नाइट्रोजन मोनोऑक्साइड के अंदर। ठीक है, ऑक्सीजन का देखिए HNO3 में 3 है, तो 3B इज इक्वल टू, यहाँ पर कॉपर नाइट्रेट में है ना, ये 3 2 6, तो हो जाएगा 6C प्लस, यहाँ पर वाटर में है तो D प्लस, यहाँ पर हो जाएगा E, यहाँ पर आप लगा देंगे, इसको बोल देंगे इक्वेशन नंबर 4। अब आपको इसको सॉल्व करना है, तो एक ना एक वेरिएबल की तो वैल्यू आपको पुट करनी पड़ेगी। मैं क्या कर देता हूं, मैं हमेशा a की वैल्यू को 1 पुट करता हूं। a की वैल्यू को 1 पुट करेंगे, सो फ्रॉम इक्वेशन नंबर फर्स्ट यू विल गेट c इज इक्वल्स टू 1। इक्वेशन नंबर फर्स्ट है, आपको a की वैल्यू मिल गई है और c की वैल्यू मिल गई है। a का वैल्यू 1 पुट कर दिया तो c का वैल्यू 1 आ गया मेरे पास। अब मैं क्या करूंगा, इक्वेशन नंबर 3 को थोड़ा सा सिंपलीफाई कर देता हूं, b इज इक्वल्स टू 2 मल्टीप्लाई बाय 1 होना चाहिए ना c की वैल्यू, तो मैंने डायरेक्टली लिख दिया b प्लस e। ये मेरी मॉडिफाइड इक्वेशन नंबर 3 हो गई। सेकंड वाली को तो मॉडिफाई कर नहीं सकता, फोर्थ वाली पे चल लेते हैं। तो ये हो जाएगा 3b इज इक्वल्स टू 6, c की वैल्यू पुट कर दी, प्लस d प्लस e, ये मेरी हो जाएगी मॉडिफाइड इक्वेशन नंबर 4। ठीक है, अब आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा, देखिए किसी एक इक्वेशन में वेरिएबल्स की वैल्यू को रिप्लेस करना पड़ेगा दूसरे वेरिएबल से, वरना इसका आंसर तो नहीं आएगा। मैं देखिए क्या कर रहा हूं, इक्वेशन 2 से तो d की वैल्यू को निकाल लूंगा, d की वैल्यू को इन टर्म्स ऑफ b लिख दूंगा, और 3 से, ये तो 3 डैश है, इससे e की वैल्यू को इन टर्म्स ऑफ b लिख दूंगा, तो देखिए मेरे पास फोर्थ इक्वेशन में क्या हो जाएगा, 3b इज इक्वल टू 6 प्लस d की वैल्यू को क्या लिख सकता हूं, b बाय 2 प्लस e की वैल्यू क्या लिख सकता हूं, b माइनस 2। ये हो जाएगा। अब चलिए इसको फटाफट से सॉल्व कर लेते हैं, तो हमारे पास क्या फाइनल आंसर आएगा उसको हम लोग देख लेंगे। ये इसका एलसीएम मैंने ले लिया, डायरेक्टली मैं इसको कर देता हूँ 6b प्लस ये हो जाएगा 12 प्लस हो जाएगा b प्लस हो जाएगा 2b माइनस का हो जाएगा ये 4, तो ये हो जाएगा 3b, इसको ट्रांसपोज कर देंगे, 3b हो जाएगा लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे ट्रांसपोज कर देंगे, तो 3b इज इक्वल टू 8 एंड b यू विल गेट एज 8/3। अब देखिए इक्वेशन नंबर 2 में अगर आप इसकी वैल्यू को प्लेस करेंगे तो आपके पास क्या हो जाएगा, 8/3 इज इक्वल्स टू 2d, ये हो जाएगा 4/3, सो यू विल गेट द वैल्यू ऑफ d इज इक्वल्स टू 4/3। और 3 डैश में अगर आप प्लेस करेंगे इसकी वैल्यू को, तो 3 डैश की वैल्यू को मैं यहां पर लिख के दिखा रहा हूं, ये हो जाएगा 8/3 इज इक्वल्स टू 2 प्लस e, सो e इज इक्वल्स टू 8 माइनस 2/3, ये हो जाएगा e इज इक्वल्स टू 8 माइनस 6/3, सो दिस विल बी योर 2/3। ठीक है, अब वैल्यूज क्या क्या आ गई यहाँ पे लिख दीजिए, a का वैल्यू 1, b का वैल्यू 8/3, c का वैल्यू हमारे पास आया 1, d का वैल्यू हमारे पास कितना आ गया था, it was 4/3, and if we'll talk about e, that is nothing but e is equals to 2/3। ये हमारे पास आ गई इसकी वैल्यू। ठीक है ना, चलिए सुनील सर फिर अब क्या करना है, देखिए मैं आपको हमेशा सजेस्ट करूंगा कि भाई आप फ्रैक्शनल में वैल्यू मत लेके आइए, होल नंबर वैल्यूज लेके आइए। तो आप क्या कर सकते हैं, नीचे हमारे पास डिनोमिनेटर में 3 है, सबको 3 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दीजिए, तो a का वैल्यू कितना हो जाएगा 3, b का वैल्यू हो जाएगा 8, c का वैल्यू हो जाएगा 3, d का वैल्यू हो जाएगा 4 और e का वैल्यू हो जाएगा 2। ये हमारा आंसर होना चाहिए, ये हमारे स्टोइचियोमेट्रिक कोएफिशिएंट्स होंगे 38342। 38342 क्या हमारा डी से आंसर मैच कर रहा है, 38342 शत प्रतिशत मैच कर रहा है, करेक्ट आंसर इज डी। ठीक है। सो दिस इज नथिंग बट सुनील सर्स गो प्रेप वे ऑफ लर्निंग। एल्जेब्रिक मेथड इसको कहा जाता है, नॉर्मल एल्जेब्रा हम इसमें लगाते हैं, आंसर हमेशा एक्यूरेट आता है इससे। चलिए, रेखा ड्रॉप्ड अ मेटल पीस ए इन द सोल्यूशन ऑफ अनदर मेटल बी। अब ये क्वेश्चन नंबर 11 है। एक मेटल पीस है ए जिसको उन्होंने डाला अनदर मेटल सोल्यूशन जो था बी। आफ्टर सम टाइम अ न्यू कलरलेस कंपाउंड सी इज फॉर्म। तो यहां से हमको एक चीज तो समझ में आ रही है कि जो रिएक्टिविटी है, रिएक्टिविटी ऑफ ए इज ग्रेटर देन बी। अब ऐसा क्यों है? क्योंकि उस मैट बी का कुछ सोल्यूशन था, ठीक है ना, उस सोल्यूशन से ए ने क्या किया, उसको डिस्प्लेस कर दिया और उसका एक कलरलेस कंपाउंड बना दिया सी। तो फॉर श्योर ए का रिएक्टिविटी बी से ज्यादा है। अब देखिए हम यहाँ पर क्या लिख देते हैं, फटाफट से हम लिख देते हैं यहाँ पे ए होना चाहिए, बी होना चाहिए, सी होना चाहिए। क्या कॉपर का रिएक्टिविटी जिंक से ज्यादा है? जिंक मेटल है ना, क्या कॉपर का रिएक्टिविटी जिंक से ज्यादा है? रिएक्टिविटी ऑफ जिंक इज ग्रेटर देन कॉपर, सो दिस केस इज नॉट एट ऑल पॉसिबल। मैग्नीशियम का क्या सोडियम से ज्यादा है? नहीं, रिएक्टिविटी ऑफ सोडियम इज ग्रेटर देन मैग्नीशियम, ये भी ऑप्शन हो जाएगा गलत। मैग्नीशियम एंड कॉपर बिल्कुल सही है, ये वाला तो सही लग रहा है मुझे, मैग्नीशियम एंड कॉपर, क्योंकि हमारा जो रिएक्टिविटी है आपका मैग्नीशियम का वो कॉपर से ज्यादा है। अब आगे देख लीजिए, हाँ तो ये पॉसिबल है कि अगर आप CuSO4 में मैग्नीशियम मेटल डालें तो MgSO4 बना देगा, एंड दिस इज कलरलेस सॉल्यूशन। बिल्कुल सही बात है, ये कलरलेस है। ये क्या होगा? ये ब्लू कलर का होगा, है ना, ब्लू सोल्यूशन होगा, मैग्नीशियम को डाला तो कलरलेस बन जाएगा। बिल्कुल 100% इसका आंसर हो जाएगा सी। हमें अगले क्वेश्चन पे जाने की जरूरत ही नहीं है। FeZ नहीं, ये गलत है। रिएक्टिविटी ऑफ जिंक इज मोर देन आयरन, तो ये गलत है, आंसर हो जाएगा सी। ठीक है, चलिए आगे चलते हैं। Which of the following statements are incorrect regarding Mendeleev's periodic table? बहुत बढ़िया। Mendeleev considered compounds found by element with oxygen and hydrogen. yes, बिल्कुल सही, ये बिल्कुल सही था। उन्होंने 63 कार्ड्स लिए थे और 63 कार्ड्स पे ऑक्साइड्स और हाइड्राइड्स का फॉर्मूला लिख दिया था, ठीक है ना। अब वो जो सेम कॉलम में जब उन एलिमेंट्स को रखते जा रहे थे, मतलब सेम केमिकल प्रॉपर्टी, दैट इज द सेम फॉर्मूला ऑफ ऑक्साइड एंड हाइड्राइड, तो ऑटोमेटिकली इंक्रीजिंग एटॉमिक मास पे अरेंज हो गए थे 63 कार्ड्स। तो ये तो सही है। इन द टेबल निकल इज प्लेस्ड बिफोर कोबाल्ट। नहीं, यही तो ड्रॉबैक बन गया था ना, यही तो ड्रॉबैक बन गया था कि केमिकल प्रॉपर्टी को फॉलो करने के चक्कर में उन्होंने कोबाल्ट वाज प्लेस्ड बिफोर निकल, है ना, कोबाल्ट को पहले लिख दिया था बिफोर द निकल, ठीक है ना, हायर एटॉमिक मास को पहले लिख दिया था एज कंपेयर टू द लोअर एटॉमिक मास। 58.7 और 58.9 इनका मास होता है, तो कोबाल्ट वाज प्लेस्ड बिफोर निकल, ये गलत कर दिया था, ये काम नहीं करना था, ठीक है ना। अच्छा, अब देखते हैं इका सिलिकॉन एंड मेंडलीज पीरियोडिक टेबल इज गैलियम। कुछ नहीं करना, मेरा मैं तो आपको एक ट्रिक बताता हूं। इका एक लड़की है, इका भी आलसी है, इका भी आलसी है, तो अब इसके अंदर क्या करना है, आप देखिए इसको। इका संस्कृत न्यूमेरल है, दैट मींस फर्स्ट वर्ड या फर्स्ट एलिमेंट आफ्टर दिस, इसका मतलब ये होता है। ये बी से आएगा, आपके पास क्या आ जाएगा, इसको ऐसे लिख देता हूं, इका बोरोन एल्यूमिनियम और सिलिकॉन, इका भी आलसी है, ठीक है ना। सो इसको हम कैसे रखेंगे याद, मैं आपको बता देता हूं। देखिए आलू से बनता है, आलू के साथ चाहिए हमें गाजर, तो गैलियम, सीता जी, सिलिकॉन जर्मेनियम एल्यूमिनियम गैलियम, और बोरोन बना स्कैंडियम। इनकी प्रॉपर्टीज किसने फ्यूचर में जाके प्रूव करी थी? जो हमारे मेंडलीव ने प्रेडिक्ट करी थी कि इका बोरोन इका एल्यूमिनियम इका सिलिकॉन जो फ्यूचर में जाकर हमारे स्कैंडियम गैलियम एंड जर्मेनियम बने, विंकलर ने प्रूव किया था। तो इका सिलिकॉन इन मेंडलीज पीरियोडिक टेबल इज गैलियम, नहीं भाई, इका सिलिकॉन जर्मेनियम होना चाहिए, आप गलत बोल रहे हैं, ये गलत है। द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ एलिमेंट्स आर पीरियोडिक फंक्शन ऑफ द एटॉमिक मासेस, बिल्कुल सही, यही था मेंडलीज पीरियोडिक लॉ, यही था, ठीक है। तो बी और सी हमारा गलत हो गया, बी और सी हमारा गलत हो गया, बी और सी 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 कहां है, बी और सी, ये हो जाना चाहिए ऑप्शन नंबर सी, और ये होना चाहिए था हमारा ऑप्शन नंबर डी, ठीक है। तो इसका करेक्ट आंसर क्या हो जाएगा, इसका करेक्ट आंसर हो जाएगा हमारे पास सी, right? So C is the correct answer of this question. Now let's move on to the next question. 13th question. Which of the following contains 5 molecule of water of crystallization? ये तो यार पहले ही ऑप्शन से आंसर आ रहा है। ब्लू विट्रियल किसको कहते हैं? कॉपर सल्फेट पेंटाहाइड्रेट CuSO4.5 of H2O को कहते हैं ना, है ना। व्हाइट विट्रियोल, इप्सम सॉल्ट, ग्रीन विट्रियोल, ये सब आपको पता है तो बहुत बढ़िया है, दैट इज ZnSO4.7H2O, ये हो जाएगा MgSO4.7H2O, इप्सम सॉल्ट इसको कहते हैं, ZnSO4.7H2O इसको कहते हैं। कुछ लोग व्हाइट विट्रियोल से सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड में जाते हैं, दैट इज नोन एज ऑयल ऑफ विट्रियोल, ठीक है। ग्रीन विट्रियोल इज नथिंग बट FeSO4.7H2O, तो ये हमारे नामकरण हो जाएंगे। 5 वाटर ऑफ क्रिस्टलाइजेशन किसके अंदर होगा, Lubitron में वाटर ऑफ क्रिस्टलाइजेशन क्यों? बिकॉज दिस प्रोवाइड्स द क्रिस्टल स्ट्रक्चर. जब आप इसको क्रिस्टलाइजेशन सेपरेशन प्रोसेस से ऑब्टेन कर रहे होते हैं, सो इट ऑब्टेन इन द फॉर्म ऑफ द क्रिस्टल्स. ठीक है ना. पर फॉर्मुला यूनिट पे 5 वाटर मॉलिक्यूल्स अटैच हो गए, पर फॉर्मुला यूनिट पे 7 वाटर मॉलिक्यूल्स अटैच हो गए. सो इट प्रोवाइड्स अ वेरी रेगुलर स्ट्रक्चर. दैट्स व्हाई इट इज नोन एज वाटर ऑफ क्रिस्टलाइजेशन. ठीक है. सो आई होप आपको ये सारी चीजें समझ में आई होगी बच्चा लोग. चलिए, बहुत बढ़िया.
Hey guys, I hope बाकी sections भी आपके काफी अच्छे गए होंगे. Now let us try to talk about the biology section of the GTSC. ठीक है? So guys, the first question was herbivores have longer small intestine than carnivores because now you know herbivores they need to digest a lot of carbohydrates, whereas आपका the carnivores need to digest proteins which are easily digested, right? So meat which has got high protein content is easier to digest. That is why कार्निवोर्स का छोटा स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन से काम चल जाता है. कॉमन पैसेज फॉर डाइजेस्टिव एंड रेस्पिरेटरी ट्रैक्ट, दैट इज ऑब्वियसली योर फेरिंग्स, जहां पे आपका नेजल कैविटी एंड बकल कैविटी बोथ ऑफ देम ओपन. The breakdown of pyruvate to give carbon dioxide water energy takes place in. Now you know pyruvate enters mitochondria. वहां उसके साथ होता है Krebs cycle, a series of reaction that further breaks it down, generates NADP, energy carrier, and ATP, but बहुत कम. अब ये NADP goes to the electron transport chain ETC और वहां पे देते खूब सारे आपको ATP. So the correct answer is mitochondria. The wheat variety which we consume in our diet has 3 sets of chromosome in its leaves. 3 sets. हमारे पास कितने हैं? 2 सेट. बैक्टीरिया के पास कितने होते हैं? सिर्फ एक सेट. So bacteria is haploid. We are diploid, more than 2, poly, hence the wheat plant is polyploid. Characters that are transmitted from parents to offspring during sexual reproduction show. जो parents से offspring जाते हैं वो क्या दिखाते हैं? Only similarities, only variations, both similarities and variations, neither similarities nor variations. So both, right? Both similarities and variations. We are not exactly true copies of them. In human females, an event that reflects onset of reproductive phases, growth, change in hair pattern, change in voice, menstruation. Onset of reproductive phase. Now guys, onset of reproductive phase, very important, is menstruation. All of these, growth of body, change in voice, change in hair pattern, all of these are because of the other changes that are happening. For example, hair pattern, if I say, even in female, there is a very small amount of testosterone present. And this testosterone leads to the change in hair pattern. Change in voice, again, to some extent, again, the female sex hormones are responsible for this. And growth of body, not only growth hormone, but their testosterone, in fact, as well is part responsible for growth. Then you have a lot of other hormones. But menstruation is the key event. In an ecosystem, the 10% of energy available for transfer from one trophic level to next is in the form of, सही आंसर आपको ही पता है, केमिकल. हीट, लाइट, मैकेनिकल, नो, केमिकल, मॉलिक्यूल्स, है ना. नाउ आपके मैथ्स के सर आने वाले हैं, ही इज गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट द क्वेश्चंस जो आपके मैथ्स के. चलो, आई होप बायो का सेक्शन सबका बहुत अच्छा गया होगा.
Hi guys, welcome to the math section. I hope your test went well. Right, let's discuss these questions. My name is Rohan. So guys, these questions are a little bit difficult. Just try to understand, right? We'll go through the options first and then we'll look at the solution. Right, just look at this. D is the right answer. Let's see how. So in this case, guys, just look at this. You just have to apply the formula, right? So you know that in the previous equation, it is given that ui is given, right? And fi ui, the summation of fi ui is given also. So we'll apply this ui formula here, right? And then we'll try to find out what do we get. Just look at it. So when we'll try to find out, we'll get fi xi and minus 25 fi. We can take this 10 out of this summation, right? Because this will be added to all of these. So we can take 1 by 10 common. Right, this is equal to 20. Finally, this is summation of fi xi and minus summation of 25 fi, right? Whenever you have like a minus b, yeah, you can always remove it like summation of a, summation of b, right? So just look at it. So guys, now we have fi xi minus 25 fi and we have taken this 10. We have taken this 10 on the right hand side. On the right hand side, you can see this 10 is at multiplied here will become 200, right? Now, from this equation, it is given that fi is, summation of fi is 100, it is given in the question, right? So guys, just look at this. If sum of fi is 100, so you can find out the value of fi by just simply putting 100 there. So this will be, now we'll add 2500 to 200, so it is 2700. Now we know that the mean is summation of fi is just summation of fi upon summation of fi, right? So that's how we are going to do it. So 2700 divided by 100 will give you the mean. So that is equal to 27. That's our answer. Right, let's go for another question. So guys, this is a very interesting question. Just try to look at this. So the houses are in the row are numbered. The first house is first, the second house is second, the third house is third, and such as that. It goes on to 49, right? So guys, any number house, so the third number house will have the number 3, right? The nth number house will have the number n. So right, the nth term is n, right? Similarly, amth term will be m, a49th term is 49, right? This is very clear to everybody, right? Now, so there is a value of x such that the sum of the numbers of the house preceding the number x. For example, let's say there is x house and there are houses here and there are houses here, right? So till the house, the number of houses preceding this is equal to the number of houses after following x, right? So what we can do is number of these houses is equal to total minus this part. Can we write it like this? Can we write it like this? Yes, of course we can write it like this, right? Let's say this is mth term, right? This will be m minus 1 term, right? So we can say the sum of m minus 1 terms is equal to total number of terms, that is 49 terms, minus sum of m terms. ये total minus करने से we'll get this one, as it is given in the question that this part and this part has same sum, right? So total sum minus this will give you this one. Okay. So that's what we are going to do here. Just look at this. C is the right answer anyhow. Just look at it, how we get it. So guys, that's how we wrote the sum of m minus 1 terms on AP is equal to sum of the whole AP minus sum of first m term, so that you get the last at the terms followed by x, right? So now guys, m minus 1 upon 2, we are using the formula of n by 2. Summation is the sum of n terms is n by 2 into a plus L, right? That's what we are going to do. Just look at this. So n by 2 is, so in this case, a is m minus 1 terms, m minus 1, a plus of m minus 1, 49 by 2 total number of terms, that is 49 by 2, a plus of a 49 minus m by 2, m terms, a plus am, right? Now guys, we know am minus 1 is m minus 1, as I told you, like the number is exactly equal to an is equal to n, right, as I told you. So am minus 1 is m minus 1, a49 is 49, am is m. Now if you will solve this out, you will get m square as 1225 and m is 35 or minus 35, which is neglected. Now you can use this m to find out the value of x, right? Okay, so guys, we get the value of x as 35. That is what we wanted, the number of house, that is mth term. It was our mth term. The terms were m minus 1, right? So x is equal to 35. Now to find the value of k, we'll just put it here and we'll get the value. It is given in the question. To find the value of k, we have to put this. So we'll put the value of x and we'll get the value of k. Okay, so 65 we'll get. Sorry, not 65, it will be 55. It will be 55, guys. Right, so it is C should be here and D should be here. Normal glitch. Yeah, guys, let's go for another question. Now in this question, just look at this. If A cos theta minus B sin theta is equal to C, then A sin theta plus B cos theta is equal to what? Right? So guys, in such type of questions, you need to look into the options. In the options, we can only see a square, b square, and c square, right? All of this is given in the question, right? So how can we get a square or b square or c square? The only option is squaring both sides. So that's what we are going to do. Okay, we can again see that we have a sine theta, right? Here we have a cos theta, so and here we have a sine theta. Somehow we have to convert this cos theta into sine theta. So guys, as you will square it, you will get sine square theta here in place of that. You'll get cos square theta here, right? And now you can change cos square theta is equal to 1 minus sine square theta. As soon as you will do it, you will find A with sine theta. Just look at this. B is the right answer. Let's see how this will be done. Right. So just look at this. A cos theta minus B sine theta. We are going to square it. So A square cos square theta plus B square sine square theta minus 2AB sine theta cos theta is equal to C square. We know that sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. So therefore, we'll change 1 minus. That's what I told you. We'll change it. Why we are changing it? Because we have seen that we have to find out the value of A sine theta. So we have to combine A with sine theta, and here we have A with cos theta. So therefore, we are changing this cos to sine. As soon as we change this to sine, we can see we have A square and A square sine square theta. That's what we wanted. So b square cos square theta, and that's if you just try to bring all these without theta terms, right? A square, b square, and c square, right, on one side, right? You'll get a square sine square theta plus b square cos square theta plus 2ab sine theta cos theta is equal to a square plus b square minus c square. Now this is again the same formula, a plus b whole square. We can again come back. If you will come back, you'll get a sine theta plus b cos theta whole square is equal to a square plus b square minus c square. So now squaring both sides, you'll get plus minus root under a square plus b square minus c square. That is our answer. B is the right answer. Okay, now again, this question is very interesting. A train travels 50 kilometers, met with an accident. So it travels for 50 kilometers, and then it has an accident, and then the speed becomes 3 by 4th of its former speed. So whatever the speed is, it decreases to 3 by 4x, right? And it arrives its destination 35 minutes late. So what is 35 minutes late? You need to understand that it would have moved with x speed, and let's say the total distance is y. So that is y by x should be the total time. And it is late by 35 minutes. So this is the time, this is the total time it has taken. Y by x plus 35 by 60. Y would be the total length of the total distance, and x is the speed, right, which it was moving formerly, right? So guys, this is the total time, right? Now, again, if it had the accident 24 kilometers further, 50 say 24 kilometers further, it is 74 kilometers. After traveling 74 kilometers, they would have reached 25 minutes late. So that is y by x plus 25 by 60, right? That would have been the time. So guys, we just have to equate the time. We know they has traveled 50 kilometers. So distance upon speed, right? Speed is equal to distance upon time. So time is equal to distance upon speed. Plus it has moved with 3/4 of its speed. So guys, we know that the total distance was y. So y minus 50, it has traveled at 3 by 4 is the speed. So 3 by 4 of x. We can move this 4 upside, right? Just look at this, how could this be done? B is the right answer. I've written the solution for you. So guys, that's what I've done. 50 by x, 4 into y minus 50 upon 3x. So this is 3 by 4. The 4 has gone upside, right? Y by x plus 35 by 60. Now you will solve this out. So you'll get 4y minus 7x is equal to 200. Again, we'll apply this for the second condition given, that it has moved, the accident happened 24 kilometers after. So guys, 50 plus 24 is 74. Again, it has moved with 3 by 4 of its former speed, right? It would have reached the destination. So 3 by 4 of its former speed, and the late time was 25 minutes. So guys, in this case, you will get like 4y minus 5x, right? Two different equations, two different variables. We can solve it out. When you will solve it out, we'll get x is equal to 48 and y is equal to 134 kilometers, right? That is, it is the total distance and x is the speed, right? The usual speed was 48. Let's go for the next question. The sum of the n terms. Guys, this question has been done a lot of times. This could be in your boards also, so please pay attention here. So guys, so we have been given the sum of the n terms of two arithmetic progression, right? So sum of n terms. So this is, let's say, the first arithmetic progression, AP1, and this is AP2, right? Sn upon Sn. This is different s, right? These are two different APs. So this Sn and this Sn is different. We can mark it S1n and S2n, right? This is equal to n plus 1 upon n plus 2, right? We have to find out the ratio of their 12th term. So a plus of 12 minus 1 into d, and a plus of, so a is different for this and a is different for this because they are two different APs. D is different for this, D is different for this, right guys? So we have to find out this one. Guys, from this we know the formula for Sn we are completely aware of, right? So we have to somehow find this value. We cannot find value of A1, D1, A2, D2, right? This is not possible right now because we have limited number of equations and more number of variables. So we cannot solve all of these. But the good thing is we only have to find out the ratio. Somehow if we can convert this Sn wala ratio to this n wala ratio, that will help us. So let's check what is the Sn wala ratio. So the answer is C. The answer is C. Right, again this will be C, this will be D. The answer is C. Let's see how could this be done. So if you just look at this, the answer is C, right? So the Sn is n by 2 to a1 plus of n minus 1 into 2. We can cancel this n by 2, n by 2. We'll be left with 2a1 plus of n minus 1 into d1 is equal to n plus 1 into n plus d. We have to find out the value of this, right? This is the 12th term, the ratio of 12th term. Guys, how can we manage to convert this ratio to this one? If I put n is equal to 23, let's say what happens? 2a1 plus 23 minus 1 d1 upon 2a2 plus 23 minus 1 d2. यहाँ पे n की वैल्यू तो हमें पता है, n की वैल्यू विल पुट द सेम n की वैल्यू जो हम यहाँ रखी 23, राइट? सो अभी हम इसको नहीं टच करेंगे, विल नॉट टच द राइट हैंड साइड, विल जस्ट लुक एट द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड. So guys, why do we put 23? Just look at this. If I cancel 22, it will become 2a1 plus 22d1 and 2a2 plus 22d2. Guys, now you can see if you cancel this 2 from both sides, right, from the numerator and denominator, you get a1 plus 11d1 and a2 plus 11d2. So guys, that was a smart move when we took n is equal to 23, because that will convert this as 11. So whatever you want to do, just take one more than, that n minus 1, right? This must be equal to what? 2 into whatever value nth term you need to find. N minus 1 upon 2 is equal to 11, so you'll find n is equal to 23. So that's how, this is a method, but you can just check it and put it and solve for it. So guys, similarly, so we now have this one, right? We can, if we put n is equal to 23, what do we get? 23 plus 1, 23 plus 2, that is 24 upon 25. So on by putting 23 here, we managed to get nth term ratio, and if we do it on the right hand side, we'll get the value 24 upon 25, then C is the correct answer. So C is 24 upon 25, right? Just look at this question, guys. Again, this will be C and this will be D. Sorry for this glitch. Find the numbers A, B, C between 2 and 18 such that their numbers is 20, their sum is 25, right? So, so the numbers A, B, C between 2 and 18 such that their sum is 25. The number 2, A and B are consecutive terms of an AP, and the relation between B, C and 18 is 18B is equal to C square. So you are given lot much information so that you can find these three variables, right? Just look at this. The correct answer is A. Let's say how. So guys, we know that A plus B plus C is 25, right? And 2A, B are in AP, right? So we can use this formula that A minus 2 is equal to B minus A. So yes, you can take 2A is equal to B plus 2, right? This is the first equation where we have got a relation between A and B. Now, the another relation says 18B is equal to C square. Now just look at this. Relation between B and C is 18B is equal to C square. So now you can convert C square, B in terms of C square. So B is equal to C square by 18. Right. Okay. So guys, just look at this. A is 1 plus of B by 1 plus B by 2. Right. From here, A will be equal to B plus 2 by 2. That is B by 2 plus 1. So guys, 1 plus B by 2 is A. Right. What is B? C square by 18. What is C? C. And the sum is 25. Now guys, again we can convert this B in terms of C by writing it as C square upon 18. It will be C square upon 36. Now if you will solve this out, you'll get a quadratic equation in C square, right, in C. And you'll get C is equal to 24 and minus 24 and 12, right. Since the number lies between 2 and 18, number should lie between 2 and 18, right, because it is said that these three numbers lie between 2 and 18. So minus 24 will be neglected. So if C is equal to 12, you can find out the value of B, right? You can find out the value of A similarly. So hence, these are the answers: 12, 8, and 5. Now, in this question, just guys, just look at the diagram. If you make the diagram correct, everything is very, very easy, right? So guys, let's make the diagram. First of all, yeah, B is the right answer if you want, sorry, A is the right answer if you want to check it, right? Just look at this. AH plus BK is equal to AB. Okay guys, just look at this, हाँ? कैसे करना है question? So guys, सबसे पहले तो ये triangle बना लेंगे, ये diameter बना लेंगे, right? We know that this is a tangent at P. Right, this is M. Will make a there is a perpendicular line from here and there is a perpendicular line from here, right? And if you draw a line from here, it will be perpendicular because tangents are perpendicular, right, to the radius. So guys, this is R, this is again R, this is again R. We have taken this is Y and this is X. ठीक है, इसको हमने Z मान लिया है. ठीक है. Now you can directly apply that. You can make angles similar, or you can apply PPT here. All of this will be done, right? This will be easy. So Z upon 2R, these lines are all parallel because these are all making 90 degrees to the same line. So these lines are all parallel, right? So guys, Z upon 2R plus Z upon 2R plus Z must be equal to what? This, we are looking into the first smaller triangle and the bigger triangle, right? Is equal to Y upon X. This is the first equation we have in terms of Z, Y, X, and R. Right. Now, again, if you just look at this, another triangle will be this smaller one, and this one. Right. In this case, you can see Z upon R plus Z upon R plus Z is equal to Y upon R. Right. That is what we have. So guys, in these two equations, you can simply see that we have Y and X. What was Y and X? Just look at this. Y and X. AH, BK, AB. AH, so BK is Y. AH is X. So Y and X are required in this solution. R is also required, right? Because AB is 2R. So guys, the only variable which we don't want is Z. So we have to eliminate Z, right? So we can eliminate Z by any of these equations. We can just try and solve it, right? So R into Y plus ZY upon R. So we can equate the value of Z from these two equations. As you will equate this, you will get the values like this, right? Very easy question, you can solve it. So guys, you'll get 2R is equal to X plus Y, AH plus BK is equal to AB. Just apply these two triangles, and this BPT in these two triangles, right? Okay. Let's go ahead. A round balloon of radius r subtends an angle alpha. So if this is the balloon, it subtends an angle alpha. That means this is alpha, right? And it is also said what the angle of elevation of its center is beta. So this whole angle will be beta, right? So what will be this half angle? Can you tell me? This half line will always cross through, right? Just look at this. This is 90, this is 90, this is must be equal to this one, right? Right, this is a common angle, this is R, this is R. So you know that this angle is alpha by 2 and this angle is also alpha by 2, right? So guys, just look at this, these two triangles. So I have said that this angle is alpha by 2 and this complete angle is beta, right? Now we'll apply the formulas for this, right? The angles for this. Just look at this. Okay, C is the right answer for this. C is the right answer for this. C is not the right answer. C is the right answer. Let's see how. Right. So guys, again, just look at this. Just try to find out. Sine of alpha by 2. Sine of alpha by 2 is equal to what? BC upon CP. BC upon CP. BC upon CP. So BC is equal to AC again, right? So we can say this is 90 degree, right? So guys, it's P upon H, right? Sin theta is P by H. So what is P? P is the angle opposite to this, that is CA, and CA is equal to BC. CA is equal to BC, so we can write BC here. And what is CP? CP is the diagonal. So CP is the hypotenuse. So this is sin theta, right? We can write the value of CP as r upon sine alpha by 2 because BC is again r. So r upon sine alpha by 2 is r cosec alpha by 2, right? R cosec alpha by 2. Again, now look into this bigger triangle. Look into this bigger triangle. We have to find out this one, right? This h. So guys, sine beta will be what? Sine beta is equal to what? Sine beta is equal to what? In a moment. Sine beta is equal to CQ, right? Sine beta is equal to, just look at this. Sine total beta is equal to P by H again, right? So it will be CQ upon CP. CQ upon CP, right? So we have to find out the value of CQ. So we can write this as CQ is equal to CP sine beta. We know the value of CP in terms of alpha by 2. So guys, we'll write it here, r cosec alpha by 2 into sine beta. R cosec alpha by 2 into sine beta. So that is the right answer. C is the right answer. Now in this question, guys, in this question, just look at this question. 3 sin x plus 5 cos x is given as 5. Then the value of 5 sin x minus 3 cos x. Again, squaring will help a lot. The answer is B. The answer is B. No doubt about it. Just look at this. So guys, again 3 sin x is equal to 5 minus 5 cos x. We'll put this 5 cos x on the other side and we will square both sides. As soon as we'll square, we'll get sine square and cos square. So guys, here we'll have 25 cos square, right? And now we'll take 9, we'll add 9 cos square x on both the sides so that we can get 1 in place of sine square plus cos square x. Guys, this is 9, here we have 25, 34 cos x square means 25 plus 9 is 34 minus 50 cos x, because in this side we have a square plus b square minus 2ab, right? So now we'll get a quadratic in cos. So that was the trick, guys. So whenever you get such an equation, you square it out and you will get a quadratic in any of these, sine square or cos square. So sorry, guys. Okay, just look at this. So 17 cos square x minus 25 cos x plus 8, 17 cos. Now just apply the quadratic here. You can split the middle term and you can get the quadratic. In this case, you'll get two different answers for cos x. One, the cos x is equal to 1, right? Find the value for sin x. Find the value of sin x from that. Okay. The other value of cos x which you will get is 8 upon 17. As you get 8 upon 17, you can find out the triangle, right? What will be the triangle? Was cos is 8 upon 17, right? And thus you can find the value of sine also. As you will find the value of sine will be 15 upon 17. So 5 sin x minus 3 cos x will be what? That is what we need to find out, right? So as soon as you'll do it, you'll get 3 minus 3 and 3 from this one and minus 3 from the previous one. Right, guys? So sin x was 0, cos x was 1. So it is very simple. You can solve it here. Okay. 5 into 0 minus 3 into 1 is equal to, so we have to find out the value of, okay, just try to do this. We have to find out the value of 5 sin x minus 3 cos x. So minus 3 into 1 is minus 3. So we got minus 3 from here and 3 from here. Okay. So don't neglect any of these values. Let's look into another question. Right circular cone of a plane is divided. So guys, now just look into the diagram, right? A is the right answer again. Here you can change this to C and this to D, right? So guys, just look into this, right? So volume of this cone so is equal to half of the total volume, right? So volume of this smaller cone is half of the total volume. So we'll get 1 by 3 pi r1 h1. So we'll take this smaller cone's radius and height as r1 and h1. So this is the first equation we'll get, right? First relation between them. The other relation would be found out using this DPT, or you can solve by similar triangles also, right? So h upon h1, this h upon h1, because these are parallel lines, right guys? These are parallel lines. So h upon h1 is equal to r upon r1. As soon as you will do it, you'll get h upon h1 is equal to r upon r1. So guys, r1 upon r will be converted into h1 upon h. So it will be h1 upon h whole cube is equal to 1 upon 2. So h1 upon h is equal to 1 by 2 to the power 1 upon 3. But what do we need to find? We need to find out the value of h1 right? H1 minus H minus H1. That is this one, right? H minus H1. So we have to find the ratio of these two. So guys, thus you can find it 1 upon. So we can divide everything by H1, right? So H1 H1, because we know the value of H by H1. So this is 1 H by H1 minus 1. That is 1 2 to the power 1 upon 3 minus 1. You'll get the answer. So yes, A was the right answer. Let's look into this question. Again, this is C, this is D. Okay guys, just look at this question. You have to find out the value of D first of all, right? You have to find the value of D, right? Just look into this question. B is the right answer. 2k is equal to S. So guys, AN is given as L, right? AN is given as L. So A plus of N minus 1 into D is equal to L. So here we are trying to find out the value of N in terms of D. N is equal to L minus A upon D plus 1. Now we know the value of S is N by 2 A plus L. Right, I'll just put this value L minus A upon D plus L, right, is equal to into A plus L into A plus L, right, and this divide by 2 and this divide by 2, right, N by 2, or we can write this as divide by 2. We can do this, right? This is multiplied only. Now guys, we'll multiply A plus L to L minus L, get A L square minus A square, right, upon 2D plus of, right, L into, so just look at this, L minus A, right? Yeah. So L minus A, this is 1, right? For a second, huh? So this is 1 guys, so this is 1, okay? This is 1, so this is plus of A plus L by 2 and this is equal to S, right? This is equal to S. Now we have to find the value of D in terms of S, right? You can take this part to the left hand side, to the right hand side. So L square minus A square upon 2D is equal to S minus of A plus L upon 2, right? And now you can solve it. This is 2S minus of, so this is equal to 2S minus of A plus L, right, upon 2 is equal to L square minus A square upon 2D. You can cancel this 2 and 2. So D is equal to what? L square minus A square upon 2S minus of A plus L. As soon as you will do it, you will find out that K, we can compare the value of K with 2S. So K is equal to 2S. Simple question, right? So K is equal to 2S. B is the right answer. Okay guys, now another question, 32 question number. In this question, just look at this question. Guys, a lot of things are given, right? First of all, you need to understand, we can do this question in terms of percentage also, right? So just look at this. It says A and B complete a work in 8 days, right? So A and B works for 8 days and complete a work. So completes 100% of works in 8 days, right? What you have to do is, so how much they work in 1 day? 1 by 8. 1 by 8 is 12.5%. Right, you can divide it 100 upon 8, 1 upon 8 into 100, so is equal to 12 upon 5%. So A, let's say A works for X percentage. Let's A works X percentage in 1 day, right? The total work is 100%. A works X percent in 1 day. So what does B works? B works for 12.5 minus X percentage in 1 day. It is said that C works as the same. B and C takes equal number of days to finish the work alone. That means B and C complete similar percentage of work in 1 day. So C also works for 12.5%. 12.5 minus X percent in a day. Right? It says A leaves after 4 days. So how much time for A works? A works for, this will be C, this will be D. A works for 4 days, right? Now B works for how many days? B works for 6 days, 4 and continues for 2 more days, right? So 6 into 12.5 minus X, right? Plus then C, the total work is completed by C in the remaining 4 days. So C works for 4 days, right? So that is how 100% of the work is completed. As soon as you will solve this, you'll get if you try to solve this out. So 4x plus 6 into 12.5. What is 6 into 12.5? It's 75, right? Minus 6x plus 4 into 12.5 is 50. Minus 4x is equal to 100. This 4x will be cancelled. 75, 50 is 125. 125 minus 6x is equal to 100. So guys, 25 is equal to 6x. So x is 25 by 6. So A works 25 by 6% in a day, right? B works for 12.5 minus 25 by 6 percentage in a day, right? Same works for C also. If we'll add all of these and divide it by 100, right? The total work done by them in one day, that is the percentage of work done by them in one day, and if you divide this by 100, right? No, so you'll take that in the denominator, right? And finally you'll get, so finally when you will divide it all, you'll get the answer as 24 by 5%, right? 24 by 5 days. Okay, just try to do this after x is 25 by 6, while we 12.5 is 25 by 2, right? 25 by 2 minus 25 by 6. You can solve it like that, right? You can solve it like that. 6 2 3 jars 75 minus 25. So that is 50 by 6, right? So A works for 12.5, right? 25 by 6. B works for 50 by 6. C also works for 50 by 6, and it will divide it by 100, right? So this is 600 divided by 125. Once you solve it, 24 upon 5. So that will be our answer. Okay. Let's do another question, guys. And in this question again, we just have to, guys, the only thing which will work here is convert everything to sine and cos, right? You will finding sine, cos, secant, cos, that will only confuse you. Just convert everything to sine and cos. Once you will convert everything to sine and cos and put it in the case of m, put it into the values of L and M, you'll get the solution. Just look into this solution. C is the right answer. 1 is the right answer. Let's see how. So guys, just look at this. So all of these squares, just look at this. L square, M square is this, right? And L square plus M square plus 3 is this, right? Now L square into M square, L square plus M square plus 3. You converted everything into cosec as 1 upon sine, cos sec as 1 upon cos. Now cos 4, sine square, cos square, you'll cancel this, you'll get cos square into sine square. Here you'll get cos 6x plus sine 6x plus 3 sine square cos square x. You'll cancel this and this. You'll only left with cos square 6 sine square 6 plus 3 cos square sine square theta. Guys, now just look at this. If we convert this cos 6 and sine 6 as cos square x plus sine square theta to a cube, right? The whole cube. Minus, we are using this formula, a plus b whole cube minus 3ab into a plus b, minus 3ab into a plus b, right? As soon as you'll do it, you'll get, right, this is what we are left with. This is what we are left with, right? So we have converted this formula, a cube plus b cube is equal to, we'll use the formula, guys. A plus b whole cube is equal to a cube plus b cube plus 3ab into a plus b, right? We have this part, so write a cube plus b cube is equal to a plus b whole cube minus 3ab into a plus b, right? A plus b whole cube will be what? Sine square theta plus cos square theta whole cube minus 3ab into a plus b. So minus 3 cos square sine square theta into cos square plus sine square theta, and then this part will be still left, right? It is still left there. As soon as you will solve this, right, this is 1, right, and this is also 1. So 1 minus 3 cos square sine square theta plus 3 cos square sine square theta will cancel this and this. Will only left with 1. Now try to solve this question also. So the sum of the integers, guys, you have to do this question on your own. Very easy question. Just something which might miss from your mind is, guys, we have to find the sum of integers which are multiples of 2 or 5, right? 2 or 5. So guys, if you will find out all the multiples of 2, you can do that and sum them all, right? It will be an AP which will start with 2, and right, and the common difference is also 2, you know that. Again, we will find the AP with starting from 5 and the common difference is also 5. You can find the sum of these two APs till 500. Okay. But then you will find out there are numbers which are divisible by 2 and 5 both. For example, 10, 20, 30. So guys, these number will be added into this and this as well. ये 2 के summation में भी होगा और 5 के summation में भी होगा. ये 5 वाले AP में भी होगा. So we only want to include this once and it is included twice. So what we have to do is we have to subtract the summation of these numbers, right, one time, so that it will stay one time only, right, in the complete sum, right. You have to add this ye 2 wala AP, 5 wala AP and subtract this 10 wala AP, right. As soon as you do it, you get the answer. B is the right answer. Just look at how. So we have found the sum of the AP for 2, right. Then we have found the sum of AP for 5, right. And then we have found the sum of AP for 10, 20, and we have added S1 and S2 and subtracted S3 from it. You get 75250. Again, this question, just look at this. If A leaves the pit stop for the last lap, right? A is also moving, B is also moving, right? A moves for 1 minute more than B. So let's say B moves for n minutes, right? So A moves for n plus 1 minute, right? So A moves for 1 minute more than B. It is given. After 1 minute, another car B follows, right? So if A has moved for n plus 1 minute, B has only moved for n minutes. Okay. So what is the speed of A? It has a uniform speed of 100 meters per minute, right? So for n plus 1 minutes, it will move for 100 into n plus 1 minutes. That is the total distance it might have covered in meters. But the car B goes at the speed of 100 meters in first minute, then increases the speed by 10. So every minute the speed changes by 10 minutes. So it is an AP. First is 10, then there is 0, 10. So it will increase like that, okay? And the moment where car B overtakes A, at that moment they have traveled the same distance, right? Once they overtake, the distance will be different. But the moment where they are overtaking, the distance traveled by A and B will be same. So guys, you have to convert the sum of this whole AP, that is the distance traveled every minute, right? The sum of whole AP of B will be equal to n plus 1 into 100 of A. Just look at this. This will be C and this will be D. Look at this. A is the right answer. How is this? Let's do it, right? So guys, that's what I have told. N plus 1 is the distance. N plus 1 into 100 is distance traveled by A. Distance traveled by B will be an AP, which has n terms, that is n minutes. 2 into 100, the first term is 100, n minus 1 into D is the distance. So guys, yes, you'll equate these two and you'll get a quadratic equation n square minus n minus 20, n is equal to minus 4 and 5, n cannot be negative, right? Because what is n? N is the minutes, number of minutes. So minus 4 is not an acceptable option, 5 is only the acceptable option, so 5 is the answer. Again guys, this is a good question, just look at this. Balls are arranged in rows of equilateral triangles. So one row, then other, then other. So guys, this goes ahead, and we assume that there are n rows, right? This side of this triangle have n balls in it. So that means it has n levels in it also, right? So guys, now this is one scenario. It is also said if you add 669 more balls to it, then all the balls can be arranged into the shape of square, and each of its side contains 8 balls less than each side of the triangle, right? So the side of triangle has how many balls? N balls, right? N balls. So it will have n minus 8 whole square, right? This square will have this much balls. But when? If you'll add 669 balls to this. So we have to find out the sum of this AP, add 669 to this, and then you have to equate this with n minus 8 whole square. Just look at this. This is the option. This is the option. Just look at this. Yeah, B is the right answer. So yes guys, n minus 55, n plus 22. Just look at this. 1 plus 2 plus 3. That is how the balls are increasing. 1, 2, 3. And there are n such terms. So guys, we can just do it. Right, n by 2, the first is 1, the last will have n balls, so 1 plus n, so n by 2, 1 plus n, that is the number of balls, is sum of all the balls, right? Now if we add 669 to this, it will have n minus 8 whole square number of balls, so we'll solve it out. We'll come out with n is equal to 55, n is equal to minus 22. That is not possible because it is the number of balls. N is equal to 55. The number of balls is 1540. Right? Got it. Let's look at this question. This is an easy question. Just look at this. Very easy question. This is C, this is D. So at t minutes past 2 p.m., the time needed by the minute hand of the clock to show 3 p.m. was found to be 3 minutes less than 2. So that is talking about the 1 hour duration between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. So at t minute past 2 p.m. So guys, it is 60 minus t, right? 60 minus t. We have taken 60 minutes as the total span of time. After t minutes passed, how much time is that? 60 minus t. Found to be 3 minutes less than t square minus t square upon 4 minutes, right? So you have used B is the right answer. Just look at this. So 60 minus t is 3 minutes less than t square minus 4. You will solve it out. It's just the part which is difficult here to solve this quadratic formula. Once you will solve this quadratic formula, this will be easy for you, right? So we have got two different answers, 14 and 18. Minus 18 could not be the right answer because we are looking for t. So yeah, 14 minutes is the right answer. Right, B is the right answer. Again, this question, just look at this. It talks about a pipe and a container where it gets filled. Guys, in this pipe, the water stays for like 1 hour, the rate 2.52 kilometers. Right, 2.52 kilometers in 1 hour. So let's freeze it for 1 hour. So what is the length of the pipe? 2.52 kilometers. Right, for 1 hour. The cylindrical pipe into a cylinder for 1 hour. This is the amount of water. This much height is amount of water is filled. Let's say this is the small radius of this pipe, right? And the radius of the base is 40 centimeter, right? Into a cylindrical tank. इसका 40 centimeter है. So 0.4 कर लेते हैं meter. 0.4 meter है. If the increase in the level of the tank in half an hour is 3.15. So in half an hour it fills for 3.15. In 1 hour it will get filled for 6.3 meters. Right. So 6.3 meter is the height in 1 hour. That is if the whole water flows into this tank, right? That is for 1 hour. Exactly. We are considering the duration of 1 hour. So in 1 hour, this much amount will fall into this tank. So 6.3 meters height and 0.4 meters diameter, radius. So you have to find out the internal diameter of the pipe. So once you will equate the volumes only, right? Once you equate the volumes only. So this is the right answer. Let's see how. So we have got pi r square h, pi r2 square h, right? So volume of the pipe, volume of the tank. So the height is 2520, right? 2.52 kilometers. It is 2520 meters per hour. So 2520 meters per hour. As I told you, let's assume it to be freeze for 1 hour. So the amount of water, the height of the water column will be 2520, right? Now 0.4 square pi r square h. So pi is cancelled. So r of the base, the cylindrical tank base is 0.4 and the height is 6.3. So 0.4 square 3. As soon as you will find out the value of r, you can get the diameter, that is 4 centimeter. Okay, now look at this question, guys. This is an interesting question. So a copper wire is wound around a cylinder, about a cylinder. So guys, let's say this is the wire, right? This is the so you are winding a wire in let's say a cylinder, right? So whatever is the diameter of this wire, right? Let's believe that the wire is around like this. The wire is around like this. So whatever is the diameter of the wire will be this one, right? So whatever is the diameter of the wire, right, into the number of turns, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, will give you the height, right? If this is D, there are 3 D's, so 3D is equal to height, right? So once again, so 3 millimeter is the diameter, is around a cylinder, whose length is 12 centimeter. So guys, you can find out, so the cylinder length is given, right? So you can find out the number of windings around the cylinder, right? So number of windings, once you find the number of windings, you know the diameter of the cylinder is 10, right? The diameter of the cylinder is 10. It covers the whole surface area of the cylinder, right? So you can find out how much wire is used, right? Once you find the number of windings, you can find out the volume of the wire. How you can find the volume of the wire? So once you will find the number of windings, so one winding is what? 2 pi r, right? You can find the length of the wire, right? 2 pi r, where r is the radius of the cylinder. Guys, just listen again. What I'm trying to say is, we first found out the internal diameter of this wire is d, right? So these d's are bonded upon cylinder. Whose radius is given as r, which is immaterial now. Whose height is also we have given, right? 12 centimeters is the height. So these d's accumulate to become 12 centimeters. So we can find out how many windings are there on the cylinder. As soon as we find out how many windings are there in the cylinder, we can find out the length of it, because 2 pi r of wire will be equal to, what is r? R is the radius of the cylinder, which is also given 5 centimeters. So we'll find out the length of the wire. Now just look at this. If you know the length of a wire and you know the internal diameter, can't you find out the volume of it? This is the cross sectional area. This area into height. Area into height is the volume. So once you find the volume into density is equal to mass, right? So you have to find out the mass. The density is given. So all of these things we have to use to find out the volume. Okay, this is C, this is D. The right answer is A. Just look at how. So guys, that's what I have told. Number of rounds. If you find the number of rounds, this is D. So D will give you H. 40 rounds. Number of wire required 1 round. Circumference of the base of the cylinder. So length of wire in 1 round is equal to, as I told you, this is 2 pi r will give you 1 round to 2 pi r. So r is 5. So 10 pi. So 10 pi is the length of 40 rounds. Right. So in 40 rounds it will be 40 into 10 pi, because it is said it has moved for, right, because it is given, we have found out that there were 40 rounds. So for 1 is 2 pi r, for 40 rounds it will be 40 into 2 pi r, that is 10 pi, right? Once you will find it out, you will get it in centimeter. The radius of the wire is also, it is given in the question, right? 0.3 by 2, that is 0.15 centimeter. So volume of the wire is area of the cross section multiplied by height. So multiplied by the length of the wire. Once you find out the volume, mass is volume into density, you'll find it out. This is the answer. Now let's look at the last question. The last question is really very easy. This is ax square plus bx plus c. The point, it passes through all these points. So what does that mean, guys? If this is the value of x, this is the value of y. Right, once you put minus 1 here, if you put the value of x as minus 1, you'll get px. Px is y, right? You'll get the value of px. So x and px is given. So this is one of the notations in which it is written. So if you put the value of x as minus 1, you will get px as 12. So in 3 different scenarios, you'll get 3 different values of x and thus 3 different values of px. So 3 different equations, 3 variables, you have to solve it out. B is the right answer, 1 is the right answer. Right, a plus b plus c is equal to 0. Just look at this. 5, 1, 6 minus 6 is equal to 0. I guess the values will be 0. Let's just check it out. So yeah, c is equal to 5, b is equal to minus 3. Right, a is equal to 4 square, 4a plus 2b plus c, right, c is equal to minus 3. So 5, 1, 6 minus 6, a plus b plus c will be equal to 0, guys. Right, b must be 0, right, this is 0. This must be 0, right, 0 must be the answer, okay. A plus b plus c is equal to 0, right, b is the right answer, 0 must be the answer. Okay, guys, that's all in math section. I hope this test went well, right? Okay, we'll meet again. Bye-bye, take care.
Hello everyone, myself Ankit Chauhan, and today we are going to discuss aptitude paper analysis of GTSC slot 3 examination. As I already told, we are discussing aptitude paper. I hope आप सभी ने बहुत अच्छी तरीके से इसको attempt किया होगा. किसी भी तरह की दिक्कत परेशानी you definitely didn't face in the same. If you are having any, we'll be clearing all those in this particular session over here. So first question of the MET that is aptitude part of slot 3, what we are having, that is a plus b is greater than c plus d, and also this relation is there, that is d plus a is less than b plus c. Now if we are adding these two, what will be getting? We'll be getting 2a. If we are adding these two parts, we'll be getting 2a from here, or else let's say greater part is this b plus c and a plus b. So if we are adding two greater part, we'll be having the greater thing, that is a plus b plus c. Yeah, that is greater than c plus d plus d plus a. If we are doing, we'll be getting a plus d plus c plus d. Yeah, so basically we are having a plus 2b plus c, and this side also we are having a plus 2d plus c. So a and c will be get cancelled out. We'll be having 2b is greater than 2d, or else we can say b is greater than d in that case. So answer will be coming out as option D, that is b is greater than d. What we are doing, we are simply adding the greater part. Look, greater part is this b plus c and a plus b, and this is smaller part in both the side, right? So we'll be adding greater part and we'll be adding smaller part. Obviously, greater part, sum of greater part will be greater than the smaller parts. Yeah, so we'll be getting answer as D option over here. Next, now find the set of figures which have similar characteristics. Choosing from the given alternatives. Okay, so we need to find out the similar characteristics. Acha. So if I'm looking at the first part, it is having sticks on the end, and there is only one option in which we are having sticks and they are in the similar direction, right? They are in the right direction only, and here we are having 6 sticks over there. Sorry, 7 sticks, and here also we are having 7 sticks. So there is only A and D which are somehow similar to each other. Rest all are different over there. So we'll be getting answer as D and A in that case. Option C, it is basically, it is printing error. It will be option C, that is D and A over here, right? D and A will be getting in that case. That is the similar figures we are having. Next. So here the interchange of which of the given numbers or signs in the alternatives will make this equation meaningful. It means right now it is incorrect. Obviously it is 23 into 6 plus 8 minus 32. It is not at all equal to 76. What we are having like this, we need to change it accordingly ki kya changes kare. So 8 and 6 if we are replacing, we are not getting correct answer. When we'll be getting, when replacing multiply by plus and plus by multiply. Look, if we are changing plus by multiplication, here we'll be getting 6 into 8, plus will be replaced by multiply. So if we are solving it, it is 60 plus this is 48 minus 32. If we are doing, we'll be getting 76 in that case. Yes, if we are interchanging plus by multiply and multiply by plus, we'll be getting our desired answer. So answer D will be the correct one for this question. Yes, bit easy question these are, right? Now we are having 6 elephant P, Q, R, S, T and U, right? And they are weighted. Now elephant U is heavier than R. So U ka weight jo hai, that is heavier than R. Then it is lighter than T. It means U is lighter than T. Then we are having elephant P and S are of same weight. P and S are of same weight. We are having, right? So elephant P and S, they are of same weight. Now it is given to us that Q is lighter than P. Q is lighter than P, but it is heavier than S, right? P and S are of same weight. Elephant Q is lighter than P. It is lighter than P, but it is heavier than R. Okay, it means Q is heavier than R. Q is heavier than R. It means Q will be somewhere over here, right? Q will be somewhere over here. It is lighter than P. It is lighter than P. It means it is smaller than P. Yeah, and we know that P and S are of same weight, and it is greater than Q. So R will be the Q is lighter than P and R is heavier than S. R is heavier than S. So R will be somewhere over between this. Yeah, P and S over here, right? So lightest will be the Q in that case, right? So what will be getting the correct order? We are having U as less than T but greater than R. It is given to us, right? Then we are having elephant P and S are of similar weight. Q is lighter than P. Q is lighter than P. It means P will be greater than Q. First of all, P will be greater than Q, and it is heavier than R is heavier than S. It means R will be somewhere over here. So we'll be getting this result. Now what they're asking, which one is the heaviest one? Obviously T will be the heaviest one in that case, right? So answer will be coming out as option B, that is T. Yeah. Now, in the character is written as this figure and children is written as this figure in the sign. Now, what will be calling it as Hira Lal? Hira Lal को कैसे represent करेंगे? So, every letter is having unique word. H is having 4. Yeah. Then we are having I. I is having letter 8 over here, right? So, we'll be getting 8 in place of I. Then for R we are having 6 over there, right? Right, 4, 8, 6. Then for L we are having 5. Yeah, for L we are having 5. Then for D, sorry, okay, I'm mismatching it, I guess. Hira Lal, that is H is 4. Then we are having I is given by 8. Then R is given by 4th word, that is 6 over here basically. Then we are having A again. So A is nothing but it is 1. Then we are having L. So L here is 4th letter in this, so it is 5. Then we are having again A. Then we are having again L. So we'll be getting this as our result. That is nothing but option B. Yeah. So option B will be the correct one for this question. That is 4, 8, 6, 1, 5, 1, 5. Yeah. Now in this question we need to calculate the number of squares. So there is no option. We need to calculate accordingly. This is the biggest square. Then we are having this 4 square over there, right? These are the 4 square we are having here and here. Okay, these are the 4 square we are having. So 1 plus 4 we are having. Then coming back to the smaller one or the more bigger one, if you are looking at then again we'll be having this as 1 square. Similarly, such type of 4 squares we are having, right? 4 squares we are having. So we are adding 4 more over here. Then now we'll be coming back to the smaller one. Yeah, we'll be coming to the smaller one over here. Wait for a second. Yeah, smaller one. So here we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 smaller squares are there, right? 14 smaller squares are there. Then in the here we are having one big square. Yeah, here we are having one big square, that is 1. Then we are having 4 smaller square in between them only. That is, say for example, here we are having 1. And similarly, we are having 4 such squares. 2 and 3 and this is 4. Yeah, so 4 such squares. How many are there? We are having 12 plus 14, that is 26. And 27 squares we are having, right? We are having 27 square. How many squares are there in the figure given below? So we'll be getting 27 squares in that case. Next, a clock is so placed that 12 noon, its minute hand points toward the northeast. Okay, so clock is like that, and at 12 noon it means minute and hour both are at the same, and they are showing northeast direction over here, right? If they are showing northeast, north will be somewhere over here. Yeah, east will be somewhere over here. Then we'll be having south just opposite to north, so it will be southeast, and west just opposite to east, so it will be southwest. Yeah, and this will be northwest. Yeah, northwest direction. Now what we are having, the time is 1:30 now. Time is 1:30. It means our end will be covering 45-degree angle, and minute end will be covering 180-degree angle, right? So it will become, if it is covering 45-degree angle, it will be somewhere over here. Yeah, 45-degree angle. Look, east is at 45-degree, right, to northeast. So the our end will be coming to the east direction. First of all, our end will be coming to the east direction, and here we are having southeast, and here we are having south, then southwest we are having, right? So it is southwest. So minute end will be coming to the 180-degree, that is southwest, and our end will be covering 45-degree angle, so it will be pointing toward east. So what they are asking for? They are asking for our end, so we'll be getting answer as east in that case. That will be our correct answer over here. Next, a boy is climbing a pole. A pole is there. Yeah, a pole like that, it is there. Now a boy is climbing 100 feet. It is now 100 feet it is. 15 feet he is climbing and 10 feet he is reversing back, right? So 15 feet if he is climbing, then effective climb, if you are calculate effective climb, that will be 15 feet he is climbing, then he is sleeping for 10 feet. So effective climb is 5 feet. Now for 85 feet, we are calculating ki how many climb he'll be doing. So 17 climb will be there for 85 feet. Now in the next climb he'll be reaching to 100, right? And there we need to obviously we need to go there. We need that boy should be on the top of the pole over there, right? So it should be on the top of the pole. Now on the 18th one, on the 18th climb, he'll be reaching at 100 feet. So obviously afterwards what he is doing, sleeping or whatever he is doing, it is not our concern, right? Our concern is he should be on the top, and on the 18th climb he'll be on the top, right? So we'll be getting answer as option C, that is 18th climb. 85 meter he already climbed in 17 climb. Then 85 feet he already climbed in 17 climb. Then in the next climb he'll be getting 15 more, that is he'll be reaching to the top. Yeah. Next, if the first half of English alphabet is reversed and so it is the second half also, then which letter is 7th right to the 12th letter from the left? Now what we'll be doing, we need to write English alphabet from reverse. First half will be reversed. So first half will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L and M, right? This is the first half. यहाँ से reverse हो गया. After that we are having again from here we are starting the second half, and that too from the reverse. So it will be coming out as from here I'm writing N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y and Z. Yeah. Now 7th letter to the right of 12th letter from the left side. So from left side, if we are calculating the 12th letter, here till here we are having 13 letters. So 12th letter from the left is this. Yeah, this is the 12th letter, that is B. Now from here, which one is the 7th letter? That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this U will be coming out as the 7th letter from the right of the 12th letter, right? So the answer will be coming out as option B, that is U. Simply we need to write the alphabets, English alphabet, and then we need to solve it accordingly. Yeah. Now, in which of the following question figure showing a sequence of folding and cutting paper given? So which answer figure would be obtained and opening the folded paper after cutting? So we are folding paper like this, and then we are again folding it over here, right? So we are having 4 folds, and then we are cutting from the corner. Then we are cutting it from the corner. So obviously this figure is not obtained because we are cutting in a square face parallel to these lines. Yeah, parallel to these lines. So this figure definitely it won't be there. Now, if you are looking at these two figures, obviously, अगर मैंने 4 fold किया है इसको, it is folded twice over there. It means it will be cutting from all the four side. Yeah, it will be cutted from all the 4 side. Why? Because, and if we are folding it, so this side and this side is already included. Again, in this fold we are including this side. Yes, so we'll be having all the 4 corners as well as all the 4 middles, right? So answer will be coming out as option D in that case. That is nothing but 4 over here, right? Option D, that is 4 over here. 4th figure is the correct one for this. I guess everything is well understood to you. These are very basic things. You need to use simple aptitude of yourself to solve these kind of questions, right? So thank you everyone. Thank you so much. We'll be meeting you again in upcoming sessions over there. I hope आप लोगों का GTSC examination बहुत अच्छी तरीके से आपने फोड़ा है. Yeah. So for that, thank you everyone. Thank you so much. Bye bye.